The Great Depression occurred between 1929 and 1939 and it was caused by a huge stock market crash. The stock market crash caused people to lose all their investments. Business failed, and that created a lot of unemployment. Tragically, the Great Depression was a time of poverty in the United States, causing many people to lose their homes and starve. My great-great-uncle Neil talked to me about his life on a farm during the Great Depression.
My family lived on a farm all the time I was growing up, and they were very, very poor, and the poorest family around, because they had big hospital bills, and we were very fortunate compared to some people who lived in the city and didn't have a garden.
Mm-hmm. President Roosevelt made a New Deal in an attempt to help people get out of poverty. The New Deal was funded by the government and triumphantly provided jobs and places for people to stay. There was a stock market crash in 2008, and it wasn't as bad because of regulations put in place after the stock market crash of the Great Depression. The Roaring Twenties was what got its name from the freewheeling popular culture of the decade. The 20s was when alcohol was illegal. The 1920s also got a new style of dressing, dancing, and more tradition. The Roaring Twenties was caused by the aftermath of World War I. For the first time, more Americans lived on cities than on farms. Uncle Neil overheard his parents discussing how things got good and then bad.
I heard them talking about how I remember the things were so good and then they got so bad.
The stock market crashed in 1929 and it caused people to lose their investments, and businesses failed to keep up in wild business. Because of places going out of business, many people lost their jobs and couldn't pay for anything. During the 1920s, there was a rapid growth in bank credit and easily acquired loans. People, encouraged by the market stability, were unafraid of debt. Farmers struggled to make an annual profit to keep their businesses afloat. Did your family have jobs during the Great Depression?
Well, we lived on a farm.
Oh.
Yeah, they farmed. We had horses. We farmed, but we had to rent a farm, and we rented a farm. Paid $5 an acre is all they paid rent, and we couldn't make enough selling oats and corn, pigs to pay the rent.
A soaring, overheated economy that was destined to one day fall like played a large role. Equally equivalent issues such as overpriced shares, public panic, rising bank loans, and agricultural crisis, higher interest rates, and cynical press added to the disarray. Public panic in the days after the stock market crash led to hordes of people rushing to the bank to withdraw their funds, and a number of bank runs and investors were unable to return the money because bank officials had invested the money into the market. Some believe the agricultural slump affected the financial climate of the country. Thousands were hungry, homeless, and unemployed.
People were very, very poor, and there was 25% unemployment, and it was just really, really bad.
The Great Depression caused many people to suffer, and some died. Even schools were affected by the Great Depression. And what was school like during the Great Depression?
1 hour she would teach, like when I was in 5th and 6th grade, she would teach the 5th grade. The next hour she'd teach the 6th grade. So what I did, I listened the year that they were in. She was teaching the 5th grade. I listened to what was going on in the 6th grade, and the second year I didn't have much to do.
People lost their homes and money. People couldn't get food and became hungry. People were begging for jobs so they could get money. Some even committed suicide because they were suffering too much and would rather die. How old were you when the stock market crashed?
I would have been 9 when it crashed, but the effects of it were really, it was the effects of the stock market and other things too that hit about 1930, about a year later or a year and a half. And by 1931, people were out of work, and we had people walking down country roads, dirt roads. Men that came from Chicago and places like that, just begging for food, and trying to get by. And in the cities, they had soup lines, long soup lines. And that was one reason, in many cases, the men left home because there wasn't enough food at home, and if they would give them poor people a little bit of food, then if they had left home and were begging, the ones that were left at home could have more food, you know. Yeah, it was really, really, really bad. Yeah. We haven't seen anything like it since.
During the Great Depression, Franklin D. Roosevelt started a New Deal. The New Deal is like, if I can work for you, you'll give me some money and a place to live. Government camp was the Great Depression camp while people were building Timberline Lodge. People got paid $14 a day and paid $1 rent per day. So the New Deal was paid by the government, so companies wouldn't have to use their money. The Great Depression actually ended because properly restored by the sharp reductions in spending, taxes, and regulations at the end of World War II. Exactly contrary to analysis of Kenyan so-called economists. True, unemployment did decline at the start of World War II. The Great Depression was ended in spending and after World War II. When Roosevelt became president in 1933, he was helping some that were suffering. While the New Deal did have a good impact, the New Deal failed to end the Depression. It helped in the short term during the Depression, but spending on World War II was needed.